There are crimes that leave investigators confused, desperate, and running in circles. And then there are the rare cases where one small detail, a moment no one notices, a sound no one recognizes becomes the key that unlocks the truth. This is the story of a kidnapping that shocked an entire community, a case where a young woman vanished without a trace, and a family found themselves living through a nightmare. But the most astonishing part, the truth didn't come from a witness. It didn't come from a confession. It didn't come from a breakthrough in forensic technology. It came from a hidden recording. A recording no one knew even existed. A recording that once discovered didn't just solve the case. It exposed every lie, every manipulation, every carefully staged detail, and revealed a truth far darker than anyone imagined. The disappearance that made no sense. The nightmare began on a quiet Tuesday evening. 24-year-old Emma Hale had just returned from work, dropped her bag on the couch, and texted her mom a quick, "Home now" message. It was routine, something she did every day. But minutes later, everything changed. A neighbor heard a scream short, sharp, and cut off too quickly. By the time anyone stepped outside, Emma was gone. No broken furniture, no signs of a fight, no dragging marks, just an overturned glass of water and the lingering feeling that something terrible had happened. Police arrived within minutes, but the house looked almost untouched, like Emma had walked out willingly, or someone had taken her so fast she never had a chance to resist. For a girl with no criminal ties, no dangerous relationships, and no history of running away, the disappearance made no sense. And as hours turned into days, the fear transformed into dread. Her family pleaded for answers. Volunteers combed forests, rivers, and abandoned buildings, but there was nothing. Almost as if Emma had been swallowed by the earth. A kidnapper reaches out, and the message chills everyone. Just when hope was fading, Emma's family received a message that froze their blood. It was a distorted voice, digitally altered, leaving a simple sentence: "Emma is alive. Do not call the police again." But what terrified investigators wasn't the threat, it was how the kidnapper delivered the message. The call was made from Emma's own phone. That meant whoever took her had access to everything: her contacts, her location history, her apps, her life. The kidnapper sent a second message, this time demanding money, not a huge ransom, not some unrealistic amount, just enough to suggest the person wanted quick cash, not a long game. Yet something felt off. Kidnappers asking for ransom don't normally wait days, and they definitely don't risk using the victim's phone when it can be tracked. The behavior didn't match the brutality of the abduction. It was too clean, too controlled, and too carefully timed. Investigators suspected someone close to Emma, someone who knew her habits, her schedule, her routines, but they had no evidence, no suspects, no direction, until the recording surfaced. The secret hidden in a 14-second file. When the kidnapper sent a follow-up audio message demanding proof the ransom was being prepared, police immediately examined the file. At first, it seemed useless, a digitally scrambled voice, no background noise, nothing identifiable. But one technician noticed something strange in the waveform. A faint, irregular sound behind the voice. A tapping, a clicking. At first, it seemed like interference or a glitch. But when the sound was isolated, slowed, and enhanced, it became unmistakable. It was breathing. Someone was breathing heavily just outside the frame of the recording, someone other than the altered voice. And there was something else. In the last second of the audio, almost buried under static, came a sudden, sharp noise, a two-note melody, a chirp. It lasted only half a second, but it changed everything, because Emma's mother recognized it immediately. She said, "That's Emma's keychain." Her panic alarm. She kept it on her purse. The kidnapper had tried to silence everything, but missed the faint jingle of the small device. That one sound proved Emma had been near the kidnapper during the recording, and it meant one crucial thing. The recording wasn't made outside. It wasn't made in a car. It was made indoors, inside a room. Now they just had to find the room. The sound that gave away the hideout. The breathing and the keychain were huge clues, but the real breakthrough came from the faint hum in the background. It repeated every 7 seconds. Not a fridge, not an air conditioner, not any common household machine. A low-level rhythmic hum, like a motor or cycling pump. When investigators matched the frequency, they realized exactly what it was: an aquarium filter. Not just any kind, the kind used in large tanks, the ones built for tropical fish or exotic pets. Detectives pulled property records, searching for anyone in Emma's circle who owned such equipment. Finally, one name triggered alarms: Derek Stone, Emma's ex-boyfriend. He kept exotic fish, large tanks, multiple filters, and more importantly, Emma had broken up with him just 2 months earlier after he became controlling and unpredictable. Police had interviewed him earlier, but he'd acted calm, composed, even helpful. He claimed he hadn't spoken to Emma in weeks, but the recording told a different story. The sound technician compared the hum to a filter model Derek owned. It matched perfectly. Suddenly, the man who appeared calm and cooperative looked like the prime suspect, but investigators needed more than a guess. They needed proof Emma was inside that house, and once again, the recording delivered it. When the audio was enhanced further, another faint detail emerged, a soft, rhythmic echo, the kind caused by tiled walls, like a bathroom, a basement laundry room, or a fish room. Derek's basement, according to records, had all three. The raid that revealed a chilling scene. Authorities couldn't wait. With the recording as probable cause, they secured a warrant and surrounded Derek's home late that night. The house was quiet, too quiet. No TV, no movement, no lights except for one faint glow coming from the basement. Officers entered carefully, moving silently through the hallways until they reached the basement door. The hum grew louder, the same hum from the recording. When they kicked the door open, the first thing they saw was the fish tank's glowing blue, bubbling with the same rhythmic pulse from the audio. The second thing they saw was a chair, rope on the floor, a snapped zip tie, a cloth gag tossed carelessly aside. Evidence of a struggle, fresh. And then, at the far corner of the basement, they found Emma, weak, bruised, terrified, but alive. Her wrists were raw from trying to escape. Her throat was hoarse from yelling, and her first words were barely a whisper. He was here. He just left. Derek had slipped out minutes before the raid, but Emma gave them something even more valuable than his location. She explained the recording. Derek had forced her to sit quietly while he made the ransom message. She tried to activate her keychain alarm, but he caught her wrist and yanked it away, leading to the faint jingle captured in the recording. The breathing, that was her, panicked, shaking, trying not to cry. And the echo, the basement tiles. Everything matched the audio perfectly. And now, with Emma safe, the hunt for Derek turned into a manhunt. The lie that built the entire crime. What investigators soon discovered made the case even darker. Derek hadn't kidnapped Emma for money. The ransom demands were fake, just distractions. He had taken her because he couldn't accept the breakup. The kidnapping wasn't about greed, it was about control. He planned to hold her for days, breaking down her will, forcing her to give him another chance. But when she resisted, when she fought, he panicked. He created the ransom story so people would look for a criminal, not an ex-boyfriend. And the reason he used her phone was even more disturbing. He wanted the messages to sound like Emma was still nearby. He wanted her family scared, confused, desperate. He wanted them to think she was alive only if they obeyed him. The money was never the motive, the suffering was. And the recording, the one detail he thought he had full control over, became the instrument of his downfall. The very tool he used to fake a crime scene exposed every secret he tried to hide. The hidden camera that captured his final mistake. Authorities eventually tracked Derek down near an abandoned cabin 30 miles away. But when they searched his car, they discovered something shocking. He had installed a hidden camera in the basement. He had recorded himself making the ransom message standing there, voice modulator in hand, Emma tied behind him, trying to stay quiet. He recorded everything. For control, for ego, for the belief that no one would ever see it but him. But the camera hadn't been fully wiped. One file remained, a short clip of him adjusting the device. In that clip, the same audio hum played in the background, the same breathing, the same faint jingle. And most importantly, Derek's real voice slipped out for a moment when he muttered something under his breath. That was all investigators needed. The recording that was meant to terrify Emma's family ended up documenting his guilt with perfect clarity. He was arrested within hours. The reason the truth mattered. Emma survived physically, but emotionally, the ordeal left deep scars. She later revealed that she had heard herself breathing in the recording when investigators played it for her. She said it felt like listening to a ghost, a version of herself that was terrified, fading, hoping someone would hear what she could not say aloud. And someone did. A sound technician. A faint pattern. A clue hidden in noise. That recording, the one Derek believed would shield him, became the exact tool that saved Emma's life. And ultimately, it proved a haunting truth. Criminals can hide their faces, erase their tracks, and bury their lies, but sound never lies. Sound tells the story whether they want it to or not. If you want more stories that pull you deep into the shadows, stories of deception, survival, and the clues that crack impossible cases stay with these investigations. Because the next story might be even more unbelievable, and the truth might be hiding in a place you'd never expect.